Okay, we're going to start a little project. I can't remember what the part we're going to use is, so we're going to go microchip microstick 2, and it's the first page. And I'm going to scroll down to package contents, and I can tell it was this part, the HJ part. So I'm going to highlight over that, go right mouse click, go copy, and then I'm going to put it in my programmer's notepad just so I remember the part. So the part's in there, so just to keep it in the buffer. So I'm happy with that now. Now I'm going to start, let's just close this window. I'm going to start the desktop. We're going to click the MPLAB X IDE, open up the development system. There's the start page, and we're going to go open new project. You can go file, open new project, or there's an icon there, open new project. So we can open new project. It's going to be a standalone embedded project. We're going to go next. Now we know it's a PIC24, so let's go PIC24 part. And if I'm lucky, I can delete that. And then I'm going to go to my notepad, I'm going to copy the part number, and put it in there if I can. Yes, I can. That's good. And then hit enter and hit next. For the moment, we're going to be using the starter kit stuff with the tools, but don't plug it in yet. I'm just going to use the simulator. So I'm just going to simulator, just for simulating on the PC, and I'm going to go next. The compiler, I'm going to use the latest compiler we downloaded and installed. Remember, it was XC16 and version 1.3. I'm going to go next. And I'm giving a project name. I'm going to call it Rent Ignition, Trent Inig. Okay. Now I don't want to put it in the projects folder, or maybe I do. I'll leave it in the projects folder under Trent Ignition for the moment, under my name Joseph Users. Okay, that's fine. I'm setting the main project, and I'm going to go finish. So if we open the properties page or the dashboard, you can see the chosen part here. You can see it has up to about 8K of RAM and around 430K of flash. We've chosen the simulator tool. We haven't created any code. If you look in the files here, there's no header files and there's no source files. So we're going to create a project file. So we're going to go File, New File, and I'm going to call it a C project. I'm going to call it main.c file. I'm going to go, and I'm going to go next. And it's extension .c, of course. I'm just going to call it main.c. Main.c, as they've all called. The throws, it'll just go into here. That's main.c under here, and finish. So now it's generated the parts, etc. There's no integer return on main.c, so we'll just do that. And I know this is something you're just going to take for a fact, that if I go hash include xc.h, if I know I do that, the header file, this will auto include .h header file. How does it know to include it? Because the project properties. Remember the project properties. We told it what the part was here. So the IDE and the compiler work together to automatically include the right header file. Okay, so this is the first header file. I think it should work. It should compile. Let's see how we go. No, there's no return because we've got no integer, so it's just return. There. And this would be your next test. So we're going to clean and build the project. Oh, we've got some errors. What are the errors? Oh, it does like int. Okay, we'll put the int back in. Int and return, or maybe just do Control Z and int. And does that work? Yep, you can see we've compiled that tiny bit of code, and you can see it's 327 bytes long, and you can see those values translate to these values here. Very little used in the compile because I've got a very little again, you can see which part we used, the checksum for the compile program, the compiler we used. You can see there's no optimization in the compiler. You can see we're using the simulator. So that'll be the last thing you need to do. I'll try and get this down slowly. Once you've done this, the next thing we want to do is maybe we want to have an integer and say int a variable called counter, and we're going to start the counter off at 0, and then we can go count plus plus, get the spelling right, plus plus, plus plus, and then obviously with C code you need the commas here, otherwise it doesn't work. Let's see if that compiles. We'll check the compiler. Are there any errors? Nope, no build errors. You can see here there's no build errors, so it's successful. So I've built the code, but now I said we put it into the simulator mode. So what we can do is recompile it for the simulator. So we'll launch the debugger main project. And then that's the first thing, and then debug main project. Click on it, and it will recompile. It will recompile with some results, but it's recompiled in a debugger mode, so we can single step through the instructions. So the first thing you do, instead of stop, executes gets you out of the debugger. We don't want it. So what we're going to do is it's just like hitting the reset on the process. So we're going to hit stop. And what's not there, as you can see, hopefully I can widen them out for you. You can see we can single step instructions. So you can see the pointer is here for the processor. We can single step set the counter to 0. If I hover over the counter, no, it's not going to do it for me. And a single step again, and I can single step, and you can see I've gone through the stepping loops. I thought it would show me the value, but it's not doing that now. We can do things on counter, we could do right mouse click, add new watch, counter, okay. And then I've added the counter. If I bring this up from the bottom screen, I've got a counter variable, and its value is 2. Now if I reset the processor back to 0, give it a full reset, and we're back here at the counter, I can single step. You see counter's gone to 0, it's changed, and you see the counter equal. Oh, here we go, counter over. You can see the counter is 0. If I single step again, counter is counter plus 1. You can see I've incremented it. The value of counter is now 1. Value of counter is now 1, and I can single step again, and the value of counter goes to 2. Very simple stuff. Nothing exciting about that. I think that's going to be, if you can get to this stage with the projects, that'd be pretty good. Now I'm going to reset here, and then I'm going to stop the debugger and stop this video cast.